Alright, here is the human algorithm that we're going to use in order to be able to code the nursery problem. And the first thing we have to do is come up with the blank places in memory. The blank places in memory are going to be all our input and all the places we're going to store the results of calculations. So there'd be these four and then these two at the bottom. And to make it a little bit easier, I went ahead and already placed them here. So I'm going to copy and paste those just so it doesn't take 45 minutes to do the video. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, and this needs a T. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is our assignments. And our assignments come from here. So all of these are low-hanging fruit. So what I just need to have is var in front of each one. So I'm going to hold down my control key and drag it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now I have var in front of each one. And then I just need a semicolon at the end of each one. So this is where I am declaring places in memory and then immediately storing a value, and those are our constants. Okay, the next thing I have is my input. And my input are these four right here. And again, to speed things up, I already have them. So I'm going to copy them, paste them in. So I have a place in memory called number of small pots. I want to assign that place in memory what's returned from my prompt when I ask this question. And then we have a second argument, and the second argument is the default value. There's no good default value, and usually when you're asking a person for a number or something. So we're just going to use just two sets of double quotes. If it was a yes and no, we would probably put yes or no as a default value. Okay, the next thing is our calculations. And those are these. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this whole thing all the way through output and paste it in. And then all I have to do is JavaScript to size it. So that means adding semicolons to the end of each one of these lines. And then I would normally add parentheses, but obviously it's already there. And a semicolon at the end of this line. The other thing I have to add is my braces. So I need a open brace to start my if. And then I need a close brace to end my if. And then else if is a two-word combination that actually saves us a set of braces. Instead of having a set of braces for else and a set of braces for if, we use else if together. And all we need is a start. And that means that it's not this. This is not true. And then we see if this is true. And I have a semicolon at the end. And then I have a close brace. Okay, then I start my else, which means that the first two are not true. And then I have a semicolon and a close brace. Okay, then I have this final calculation, and I add a semicolon to that. I add 2 slashes for my output. And then for my total ounces, I'm going to have to add document write. So document.write, parenthesis, the total ounces, colon, and then I'll join that with the place in memory that holds the answer, and then parenthesis, and then semicolon. Alright. Now you might wonder why we're doing high temperature first, then low temperature, and then else. And the reason for that is we want to avoid complex decisions. So if I did high temperature first and then try to do medium temperature next, the medium temperature rate, I'd have to say that the mean temperature is greater than the low temperature but less than the high temperature, which means I'd have to have a complex decision. We try to avoid that. So the easiest way to avoid it is to say that if an aim temperature that is above the high temperature cutoff, which is 80 to infinity, then we'll use this rate. If that's not true, then if the temperature is less than the low temperature cutoff, which is 50 down to negative infinity, then we'll use that. So that's our two highest populations, and they're done. If it's not true that it's above the high or less than the low, then it has to be in the middle. So that's what our else is, and we don't have to do that complex. Okay, if we go ahead and we preview it, we can see on line 3 I'm missing a semicolon. So I'll go back to my editor and find out what's going on line 3. Alright, so and what happens is, let's see, line 3. Oh, I have a colon instead of a semicolon. Oops, did it again. Alright, and we'll run it one more time. In 22, I'm also missing a semicolon. So let's go to line 22, and that usually means there's a space. And there's my space. Alright, so we have to be careful. Sometimes I miss a space when we're doing the human algorithm. Alright, so got that fixed. Now we move on. And on line 32. Let's go to line 32. And you can see I put a colon here. So if you can see that all the typos except for the space were done when I hit a key. So anytime you hit a key, that's why you want to copy and paste as much as possible. Finally. Okay, so we have 4, 3, 2, and my practice data says that this will be 500 if I do 82. And there it is. Alright, so we have verification, had a couple of errors in there, but that happens. And again, proving that anytime you touch a key, you're going to put a error message in, and that's what I have done. Almost all the errors that were in my code were me holding down the shift key and hitting the semicolon button, which would give me a colon instead. Alright, well that's it.